And we're online.
Good start.
Well, ladies and gents, welcome to the first episode of Speaking Sporadically. We just started this, so I guess we'll introduce ourselves. I'm Jacob.
I'm Isaiah.
I'm Devin. I don't know what you're doing there, Sharon. We're working on an intro right now, but you do you.
Not anymore.
You are right, Devin. We are working on an introduction. Something we've been wanting to do for a long time. We've always wanted to start a podcast, but we haven't gotten into it until today. I think there's a lot of reasons for that, and time concerns. What are people going to think when they hear a podcast? Because you're always going to have people that are going to be like, oh, you do a podcast, I know a few people it would just...
Yeah, it's one of those things that just always keeps getting pushed off, and no one thinks they'll ever really become successful at it. It's just going to be another thing on their plate, but if so, whatever. Hopefully we just have some fun with it.
Yeah.
And also, it's not easy. This is probably like our fifth take.
Yeah, this is our fifth take. I think one thing that I've been struggling is you want to act like you're talking to an audience, but you don't have an audience. And I think the best ones you hear are the ones where you're just talking to each other, you're almost listening on a conversation. It's nice to listen to.
That's what I'm just trying to keep in my head, Don't worry about the microphone or anything. Just have a normal conversation like we do, because we were all in Boy Scouts, and a common thing we do is, every night, usually 9 o'clock rolls around, and we're sitting by the campfire, and we will talk for hours about the weirdest things, too. Throughout the night, it'll go from so many different topics, and we don't even realize. Those would be the best podcasts ever. Yeah. I'm sure of it. If we just recorded those, because we just get real deep. We talk about everything. It's really cool. So
for sure, and, hence the name Speaking Sporadically. We're not going to stick on a certain topic. We're going to jump around, talk about random things. Maybe if you guys have any influence of what you want us to talk about, but mainly, we're just going to talk about what we want to talk about.
So we have an Instagram, Speaking_Sporadically. There should be a link when you go to our page, our podcast page. Hit it, bring it to Instagram, send us a DM, follow us. Literally tell us anything, and we'll talk about it. You can give our thoughts. The only thing though is no political stuff, because I don't want to get into that type of stuff.
The controversial topics.
And exactly, because I think it's really stupid when certain people you don't listen to or don't like different people or dislike or choose not to listen just because of a political view. I think that's dumb. Yeah. I just want to keep it neutral. Everybody's all in.
There's no way to make everyone happy, but it's definitely a lot more fun for us, at least when we know we're not really...
Yeah, not going to have to worry about someone coming and attacking us or something.
Yeah, so kind of our ideas and goals for this podcast is we want to try to make one of these once a week, uploads on the weekend, Sunday, Saturday. Yep. There's three of us here right now, but, we were going to, I guess, consider ourselves the main host of the podcast, but we're going to be definitely willing to have other people come in on talk of the podcast and get different viewpoints and different stories from different people and stuff like that.
So the people on here will really fluctuate. Like it says in our bio, we're just a big group of friends. Right now, obviously, us three are here, but some days it may just be me and Jacob, or me and Isaiah, or Isaiah Jacob, or even someone else, someone new, completely random. That's another one of our friends that wants to come on and, just have a conversation or whatever. So, and also, the more people we have on, the more different topics, because we're also going to talk about, our different hobbies that hopefully some of you guys in the audience will relate to us with.
Definitely life experiences too.
Yep. Stories we have, past experiences. Hopefully you guys will think those are funny or whatever.
Yeah, so for our first podcast, we got a piece of paper of some topics we wanted to hit, and one thing we saw recently that we were interested in was Patrick Mahomes' 1-month-old son already has a D1 college offer for soccer. Yeah. No, it's a daughter, isn't it?
I thought it was a son. Let me look it up real quick. I'm pretty sure it's his son.
Son? It looks like it.
I thought, what was his name? It was...
Daughter.
It is a daughter. No, it is a daughter.
That's really offered soccer scholarship.
What was the college?
I think a whole bunch. Because, obviously, Patrick Mahomes' wife, whatever her name is, she was an athlete in soccer. Mm-hmm. I don't know if she went professional. I think she might have just been, a college. But, obviously, Patrick Mahomes God tier
Yeah,
quarterback.
you got a lot of athletic genes running through that family right there.
God.
He's already getting offers, which is absolutely crazy. Like to think you don't even know what's going on, and you already have a future planned out for you and stuff.
Yeah.
And the bad part is that kid's probably got high standards.
Yeah, like he has a lot to live up to
It's a
now.
she.
It's a she.
It,
We have it wrong on the script.
it can decide.
Yeah. We have it wrong on the script. It says he on the script, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that I don't know. That's great, but at the same time, that would be pretty stressful. I mean, it's a scholarship for soccer, right?
Mhm.
So is that just going to be her life up until that point? Is just soccer?
she want to play soccer.
I feel like it's gotta be.
Hopefully she'll enjoy it.
I remember another thing I've heard about was IMG Academy. It's a high school down in Florida, right? And it's pretty much it recruits the best athletes from like top tier professional athletes. Will send their kids there to go and play in the sports, and it's kind of weird because it's a high school and they have to graduate high school, but they really focus on the athletics. And the school's not actually able to compete in state championships because that would be kind of rigged. Obviously, they're overpowered. But
Division 0.
yeah, it would be kind of stressful on the kid. Like, hey, we're gonna send you here to play this sport, and it almost seems like from that young age, you're already a full-time athlete.
Yeah.
You have to live up to these high standards, and maybe they don't want to do that. I don't know, but it is just weird to think someone so young and
I mean, and it's weird. You see it all the time. You'll see like 8th grade prodigy offers from Oregon, 7th grade footballer. And it's insane.
You don't know what that kid's gonna grow up to be.
Yeah.
They could be whoever. I mean,
There's who was it? There was another kid. He's older now. I think he won the Olympics already. But who's that pole vaulter? Like Mondo DuPont or something. But he's when he was 8, he was going super high and stuff like that. Like he was competing in high school athletics.
Yeah, that's crazy. We're all in track.
Yeah.
So,
only 2 pole vaulters here.
well, I don't really.
You currently pole vault?
It's been 2 years since I've
It's
used
been a
one.
while. So
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's always been a fascinating sport. You could definitely rank pole vault in the top 10 to 5 most difficult things to do in sports. I know.
There's definitely a lot to think about within such a short time frame. Like in a lot of sports, you have a good amount of time to assess a situation.
Yeah.
But in pole vault, it's you have 4 seconds to do every single thing, activate just about every muscle you have.
Yeah, it's a lot of technique.
And you got to count for wind and stuff like that you don't even know what's going on until you get up there.
You could definitely say pole vault is a whole entire sport in itself, but I was saying things to do in sports. So you're hitting a baseball, blocking a 300-pound lineman, catching a soccer ball. How fast do you think soccer balls travel?
I don't know.
On the kicker.
Yeah, look up what's the highest speed
they
you
gotta
can kick
go
a
pretty
soccer ball.
fast. One of those curve balls or whatever they are.
I'm guessing it's probably
I've seen
20. That's not
132 miles per
That's
hour.
not right.
That's probably a machine.
How fast do you
doing
kick
that.
a soccer ball?
That is true. Ronnie
I guess so.
Herberson has kicked at a 132 miles per hour soccer ball.
So then what's if that's the world record, what's the average for a player?
What
That's
would,
gotta be
what would a goalie be
120?
seeing in a game?
How do you
120
not
still seems fast.
60 to 80.
60
That
to
guy's
80.
insane then.
He's still insane, but I thought it was going to be 30.
Yeah, I really didn't think it'd be that fast.
I mean,
Well,
these guys are pros.
That
Yeah.
120 though has to literally obliterate the ball. How did it not explode?
I don't know, man.
They probably have a steel toe on their shoe too to be able to achieve that.
Oh, those cleats are weird, aren't they?
Well, I'm saying the guy that attempted the world record was he probably had a special made shoe on to do it.
You're probably right. I just know soccer cleats are super expensive. Track cleats, they're up there, but soccer cleats are double that easily.
Because there's so much engineering in
there's
those cleats and
there
those
is
type of
a
shoes.
lot.
So much science and time spent on that.
The new Nike Vapor Flies, the guy wore them to break he went sub 2 mile in the marathon.
I think I did.
Oh.
See that.
And he was wearing those shoes, and they pretty much have a spring in them, from my understanding of it. They have a spring in them that sort of propels you almost on every step.
Yeah, they're banned. A lot of
Oh, they
World
actually
Athletics, a lot of
So the sub 2 hour
This is
was
the
like an
thing.
anything goes thing because no one's
Yeah,
done
it
it
makes
before.
sense.
So he wore them just to
Like,
see
what
if
if,
he could
like-
do it.
Anything that you can do to help the human body. Well,
Yeah.
Except, like, I would assume
Drugs.
drugs and steroids and performance enhancing drugs. But I mean, that guy, he was crazy. It's just,
Well, yeah, that man had literally everything in his favor.
yeah,
for
he
it,
had the
too.
perfect genes and genetics for it.
had
I was
training for like 3/4 of a year with like 6 other guys
Yeah.
that just existed to block the wind for him and stuff like that.
yeah,
like-
he would run like probably like 4 miles with a certain pace group,
And-
and then they would fall off and a new pace
Yeah,
group
they'd
would
fly
come
like
on.
they'd run V formation, and he'd just be in the back in the middle, and then they'd have that lead car right up in front of him with that laser, and
Yeah,
he'd run the whole entire time.
because
Yeah,
you
Really?
had to sit here.
It was-
these
it was
runners
like a-
are
It was like a
crazy.
I haven't
year
watched
or
it.
2-year ordeal.
The only
watched it-
information I've seen of it was on YouTube, but Disney Plus does have a full documentary.
I watched it.
sub 2.
Yeah, I watched it. A lot of the stress on it was talking about. They did talk about the shoe, but like really briefly. But a lot of the stress of it was like they kept saying ultimately it was up to like oxygen intake or something, or like
Yeah,
the
that's what I was gonna
efficiency of
say.
like the usage of oxygen.
That's one thing I saw. His muscles are just he's in like the 1 percentile.
Yeah,
Like the
it's
amount
like-
of oxygen they need to operate.
Yeah, it's the perfect
It's so
ratio.
low.
It doesn't.
Which is the biggest thing. Because
Yeah.
because basically all it is he's just how long can you go without your muscles getting fatigued?
Right.
Yeah.
There,
You know?
there was a kid there that was like twice as fast as the guy that was super close to it.
Yeah.
But his I can't remember what it was called, but whatever it is that like the oxygen efficiency or whatever, it was just like 0.02 off or something.
Mm-hmm.
So he was so fast, but like the last 2 miles he just died completely.
Yeah.
He was like 3 minutes slower.
And a lot of people think it's just like your endurance and your ability to maintain that speed, but this guy's flying too. I remember I saw a video. They set a treadmill, like it was a large foam treadmill, because they're kind of expecting people to fall down, and it was running at his pace. And they had their average people come on it, and they would stay on for like 30 seconds. So it's
Yeah.
almost a dead sprint for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, if you look at it just his sheer speed, there's probably plenty of other people who can match it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
not near as long as he can.
Yeah.
His muscles just take in so little
Yeah.
oxygen, and then it takes so long
mean-
for any fatigue or lactic acid to build up
Yeah.
and set in that
He
these
ran
guys
that
do
pace
crazy.
so almost. I mean, it was pretty consistent for a marathon.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Which is 26.2 miles, correct?
Yeah. Is it? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
so.
and he got it in 2 hours, 1 minute, and 39 seconds, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, so was he able to get under 2 yet?
I don't think he did
No.
yet, but I don't know for sure.
This may
That
not
was
be
in-
right here.
When was that? Like 3 years ago?
2018.
2018.
Yeah.
That, okay.
3 years
yeah.
ago. That's when I first thought I heard of it.
Yeah. So I'm assuming he's still doing marathons. How old is he? He can't be too old.
What is his name?
I think it was like
Elude? I'm not-
Elliot or something like
yeah,
that.
that's what it is. I'm not gonna try to say his last name and butcher it. But he is
1984. So he's getting around.
He's 36 years
Yeah.
old.
So I bet he's got. I think he's still got a 2 hour in him if he's still running it.
Yeah, especially if he's still training.
115. He's 115 pounds. That's
Oh
light.
Yeah, it's like,
Which helps. I mean,
oh yeah, that's definitely a huge factor.
you got to be.
I mean, you train and
Yeah.
prepare for that, and you find the right body type to be able to do it.
He's got everything lined up in his favor. He's got
5'6".
the right height, the right weight.
But it is pretty cool from a perspective of finding and seeing like the limits or the bounds of the human body
Oh, I know.
from the pinnacle.
And the thing
That-
is with records, they just keep getting better.
yeah.
You know, you can never go below a record. You can only break it and keep increasing and make it more and more difficult. And more people are just breaking them.
And you got to think, is like training getting better and people are getting faster, stronger, or is it like
Or is
the
it-
technology
yeah,
how we were talking with the
technology.
shoe?
That could go along with training, I feel like, though, because, I mean, before training, like, not even, like, 30 years ago, tracks were cement,
Yeah.
you know, and, like, dirt. And
And
now
plus,
they're so much better.
Training nowadays, you're seeing people with like how they got those numbers to find how much oxygen his muscles use. They hook him up. They have the mask
Right,
on him. He's on
yeah.
a treadmill, like almost in a laboratory, if you want to say,
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
to calculate all
Wires
these
hooked up to
numbers.
him and-
Yes, was like
It's what that's...
what
What
STEM
movie had
teams
that?
and
Like
everything.
Cars 2 or 3 or whatever. Then he... With the newer one where he
Cars
crashes.
3.
The one where he crashes.
Yeah,
Right.
they had the Rusty's facility that they made. That was pretty high tech, I guess.
it just makes me think, like, when will it ever end?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think in, like...
Will they hit a limit? Like,
yeah.
this record is unbreakable.
It is the record. Because, like, you think centuries, are soon people going to be able to run miles in, like, 10 seconds? With just, like, they get some type of shoe or some type of technology that propels them and they can do this? Like, it's... At some point, it's got to end.
Yeah.
There's got to be an actual record or match.
I think it come down to, like, if they allow certain technologies at some point, or if they just make it completely natural. Because if it's completely natural, I see a point where it just caps. Because you'd have to need evolution. Yeah. But there's no need for it. Especially if it's only specific people.
I can still see records being broken, but like to the 1,000th of a second.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It'll be like it'll kind of be
just random chance almost if you're able to break it.
Yeah. So once you hit like 36 seconds, 36.4 seconds, it'll still be 36.4. You'll just like lower the number after that. So like 36.44, 36.43. But I don't think the 36.4 will ever really change. It'll just be like such small increments that it'll hardly even matter.
I still think training techniques and what's the word? Dietary, kind of like our understanding of dietary, like what's best for the body. I think that still has a long way to go.
Yeah, that's true.
Evolving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, supplements and stuff like that.
Another thing I saw that they were talking about banning is in indoor track facilities on the inner guardrail on like the first lane, they'll have lights that set a pace. So like you could say set the light to a record pace, and they're doing this like in competitions I've seen because there was a debate on whether that should be illegal or if it's an unfair advantage. But they give it to the whole heat, and they set a light of like the track record or whatever, and the light runs along the inside thing, and you can see it like dotting around.
Huh.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely a big advantage. If you
I was gonna say in any normal meet that I've ever been to, like people cannot run along. They can't even run within like 15 feet of the course or whatever it is. If it's cross country or track, you can yell out times like once or twice, but you can't set a visual pace or anything like that.
Yeah, I didn't know what organization did it or if it was just like a trial thing, like for a training purposes.
Oh yeah.
But I did see that, and it was pretty interesting.
Yeah. I mean, especially indoor. I mean, if you're going for a record, outdoor or indoor, I know some of them are just like the same. Some of them are separated, like the real smaller ones, like 1 to 2, like the 300 hurdles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those are different, but some of the longer paced ones, I don't think really where we are. But out in Indiana has them almost all the same. So if you run that with the pace or with like the visual things indoor, everyone outdoors is just done.
Yeah.
Pack up and go home.
Yeah.
There's not even a point of that.
It's crazy how people do the things, because like I said, we run track, so like we'll run our miles and get just a single mile. We'll be like, I don't know, we'll get 7 minutes or something. Or no, probably less than that. Never mind. I was thinking of we'll probably get
I'd say like a 6-minute mile,
6 or 5 minute mile, or whatever. And this dude's running at what, like a
6 6 still seems pretty slow.
Just go out and run it.
All I know is like we did some calculations one time, and my like fastest mile time, this dude was running it the whole time, but for all 26. It is crazy to think that they do it that long. You got to think that's evolution right there, you know.
Yeah, evolution like of technology.
The
definitely
pinnacle of technological and human development currently.
Mm-hmm. So another thing I wanted to talk about is I recently just got a guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys, apparently you guys haven't hit it yet, but I feel like everyone in their life gets like a guitar itch, where they go through a guitar phase.
Or a phase.
You know, where like you see someone playing a guitar, or
you know someone that played a guitar.
You know someone, and you're like, that'd be really cool. I want to do that. But usually you just like spend a night watching videos of, you know, some good guitarists like Angus Young or whatever play, and then you're like, oh yeah, and then you wake up next morning and you're back to normal. You don't want to, but
yeah.
Again, kind of like the podcast, I'm like, just do it, you know, learn how. So I picked one up, bought a guitar. Long story about the guitar, which I guess we got time.
You can definitely go into it.
So So I did quite a bit of research with a friend of mine who knows a lot about guitars, and I picked out a guitar that I ordered it, but then I got a call saying that they don't have it in stock, so it's going to be a while before it gets shipped. They said I ordered it like December, and they said it wasn't going to come till like mid-March or beginning of March, and I was like, whatever. I was using my brother's guitar for that time. I'm like, I'll just keep playing on this for a little until I get my real one. So time goes on. I'm waiting a few months. I get a few calls saying, hey, just to let you know, we still know your order and everything. And then March rolls around, and it's like beginning of March. And like a week before, I got a call saying that it should be in at the first week of March, the beginning of March. And it is the first week of March. I'm like, okay, it should be getting here. So whatever, I'll give them a call. They're always real nice, the place I shop for. And I call, and he's like, oh, yeah, that order was canceled. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, yeah, the credit card didn't go through, payment didn't go through. And I was like, this makes no sense, because I bought a tuner from them. The same order, the same time. The tuner came in because they don't...
Oh, in the same, like, shopping cart order?
Yeah.
Same purchase, same card. And the tuner came because they had that. So that went through, but the guitar didn't. They're like, yep, card didn't work. So I was like, are you kidding me? I've waited all this time just for my order to get canceled. So I go online, I reorder it, ships in 2 days. And they also said that they got the guitar that I wanted in stock mid-February. So if the card didn't get canceled, I would have got it mid-February.
That's definitely especially frustrating when you're on that guitar itch.
Yeah,
you just
I'm
want
like,
to play
I
it.
don't want to lose that
Yeah.
itch, But another thing that goes along with the guitar itch is you want to keep buying guitars. I just got my guitar, brand new, love it. I think it's awesome, but I don't know why. I just want more. Like, I want more of different types for no reason. My guitar can play whatever, and it has plenty of different pickups and stuff, but I just want more, and I don't know why, But I highly recommend learning guitar. I think it's cool, but it's expensive. Especially because I started with electric guitar. Acoustic's probably cheaper because you just need a pick and acoustic guitar, but I got an electric guitar, so I had to get the guitar. I got to get a decent amp for it. I got to get some picks. I got to get a cord, a capo, things like that. So the price can really rack up on that type of stuff. But
yeah, well, I must have not hit my guitar itch yet because I haven't felt that yet.
I'm trying.
Or I'm not too familiar with it.
I get it every now and then, but my hands are too small to play.
Yeah.
It's just too small. My
Honestly,
left hand does not stretch that far.
Yeah.
It takes me like 3 seconds to go from any which string.
It does help if you have long fingers.
Yeah.
And with some awkward
And with
chords.
you two being in band, you obviously understand music and have
a little more.
a better, I won't say like appreciation, but just understanding of it in general.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
We can feel rhythms better.
Keep your pace. I feel it's definitely a lot more fun when you have like a bass understanding of like just like the feel of or like the flow of notes and stuff like that. You can just like I'm sure you've just sat down and like just made a little riff or like a few like note segments and stuff like that. Yeah. It's just fun. You can do that on anything.
I will definitely say though, if I could get to the point of playing a real guitar, how I could feel when I play Guitar Hero on the Wii, definitely would be enjoyable.
Shredding it.
You still have the Wii?
We have a Wii U because we gave our Wii to our cousins.
I still have the OG. I just recently put them all into my room, and I didn't even realize we had so many games. But I have just like the normal Wii and the Wii U. I moved them in my room. Best decision I've ever made. And I didn't even realize how many games we had. So like 2-3 months ago, I got a few of them, like my favorite ones. I put them in there. I stacked them up. But I moved them all in because we were low on storage space in our living room. So I just stacked them all up, and it's like a foot from the ceiling. I'm trying to get through all of them. I don't know if I can, though. But
with the Wii Motion Plus and all of that, the Wii console will never be surpassed.
It is really hard.
In my mind, because that's what I grew up on. Like making the Mii characters in the Wii Channel theme song.
Yeah, it's very advanced for its time.
Yeah.
The thing,
songs.
the Wii, like the original Wii, is 15 years old. It came out in 2006.
Yeah, it's pretty much my whole life.
Yeah. And at the time, it was really cool because it was, I think, like one of the first wireless controller gameplays.
that was one of the big advertisements about it.
Yeah. And it was really cool. I played the Wii quite a bit. We just got rid of ours because it broke or whatever. But
Oh, it's
That
unfortunate.
is
Yeah.
so sad.
luckily,
Did you
we have a PS2 though. So that's our oldest console I think we have. I'm just getting a collection of PlayStation. We got the 2, 3, 4, hopefully maybe the 5. But
Oh,
See, our family got a PlayStation 3 for Christmas one year, and we played a lot on it, but we never did the online part of it. So it
Yeah.
was kind of just like you would play the story
yeah.
mode of games. You couldn't play any multiplayer games, so
we bought a PS4 like a year ago, and I bought a bunch of games for it. But we just never, like, I never sat down and actually just like signed up and paid for the online. It's like, I think it's like $12 a month or like
Yeah.
60 for a whole
yeah,
year.
Devin, you would know that. You
Isn't
have
it-
to pay to play online, don't you?
Yeah.
yeah.
So I sat down with Battlefield 5 and I played through like the story mode things, and each of them only take like 3 hours total to complete.
Mm-hmm.
So I just sat down for like a 1 week period and I finished. I'm like, well, all right, that game's done for a month, and I'll just come back and I'll play the same things again after I
Yeah.
forget it
Yeah,
all.
my game that I put a lot of hours into on the PS3 was Uncharted.
Oh yeah.
On the PS3, that was compatible with the first, second, and third one, and I played through all of those. And then they did make a fourth one, the final series it may be called, but that was only compatible with the PS4.
So yeah.
What's that? Do you know the small handheld PlayStation? Do you know what those are called?
A PSPs?
A PSP.
Yeah, PSP.
I
PlayStation
found one
portables?
today in my house.
Yeah?
And like
In
all
your
the stuff
house?
for it. So I'm gonna have to see if it'll work. But the only game we have for it is Assassin's Creed 3. That's the only thing we have for it.
That's kind of like the. Do you guys know what a Didge is?
A Didge?
A Didge.
No.
It's just like the PSP, right? It has the controls on the side. It doesn't
Right,
open like a
it's-
DS or anything, and it has a single centered screen. It was more of like a kid friendly game. Like it had just like a bunch of
Was this a game or
Or
the
it's like
Didge. The
it's
Didge
a
is the console.
Did it have like cartridges to insert?
Yeah, it inserted in cartridges. And that was the first console I've ever played on.
What are you?
Are you
what
able
the
to see it? Yeah, that was the Didge.
Yeah.
What?
It was more of a kids
It looks
friendly
like an
game.
arcade.
Because I played on it when I was like 5 to 6.
I see.
It looks like a DS almost, like a really.
I played-
This
kid-friendly
looks like
DS.
a different
Like model.
a different model than what I had. The one I had looked more slim cut. It was gray.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the one
they just-
I had looked more like
They look like just portable arcade game or
Yeah.
arcade machines.
that was the first game I ever played until it unfortunately got broken. I think I was storing it in the back because we were going camping down in Kentucky, and I was storing it in the trunk, and someone threw something into the
Oh.
trunk, and I think the wheel of a suitcase just cracked the screen, and unfortunately I didn't realize
sucks.
until I got there, but I didn't let it
That
bum
does
me
suck.
out too bad.
I didn't. Let's see. I got a DS when I was like 8, maybe. But
Mhm.
before that, I had a Leapfrog. One of those
Yeah,
huge, like those thick things. It's like, imagine like the Wii U gamepad, but like twice as thick and half the size.
Yeah.
And it's got a little stylus connected to it. And it's like learning
And it was
games.
compatible with books. You would buy
Yeah,
books
yeah.
that would go with it, and
Yeah.
you would. I think there was like a magnet strip or something telling information
Yeah.
to the Leapfrog, and you could drag the pen or the stylus
Yep.
across the words and would read it to you. And
That
each
thing
page
was
had different games. I
awesome.
remember that too.
Yeah, I had a DSi XL, I think, which is just like a DS, but like the DSi
Yeah.
was like a little bit newer, and then it was XL, which is big, and yeah, that was like probably one of my first. That and the Wii. where,
Yeah.
Looking back, like I just found it in a drawer like a couple weeks ago, and I turned it on, charged it, and played it, and it was awful. Like it was
bad,
like right
really?
now,
Really?
like compared to what like I remember it being so fun. And like, oh, I love it. But now I get on like this. How did I play this? It seems so boring. But
No,
at the time, it was great.
I had the DS XL you were talking to, and then me and my brother both got 3DSs.
Mm.
So I passed the DS XL on. The 3DS I still have, and that still works and everything. I have a charger for it and a bunch of games for it. I haven't got on it very recently though, but I should, because I remember the audio recording things you could do on the DS.
Oh, with that little bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were pretty fun. The one The one thing, I got so many games for that thing, but they were all like off-brand and weird.
Mm-hmm.
The one game I wish I actually would have gotten into is like Pokemon.
I know.
Because that's such
Yeah.
a big
yeah,
thing.
that
It's Pokemon has never died down. I don't think it ever will.
yeah, that kind of like reminds me and wanted to talk about like all the Pokemon craze right now.
Oh,
Like,
with all those cards
all
and
the
packs
cards
and
and
stuff.
how
Yeah.
like I watch Logan Paul.
Logan Paul, didn't
Yeah.
he open up
the first $1 million box, I think, or one of them. He bought I think it was like a 1990
Oh,
booster,
yeah, okay.
Pokemon booster box. It was like the first one ever. It is valued at over $1 million. A package of cardboard is over $1 million, and he pulled like 2 Charizards, and then I think some other good stuff. Each Charizard, each PSA 10,
Mhm.
package 1 original 1990 Pokemon Charizard is worth, I think, like $750,000 or something. It is insane.
That is insane. It's actually their 20th anniversary because I know McDonald's is doing something with Happy Meals. The prize you can get in a Happy Meal is actually a pack of Pokemon cards.
What?
Because I saw
Where was that when I went to McDonald's as a
Matt
kid?
Stoney,
Okay.
you know, the guy who eats food.
Yeah.
Pretty much he ordered a ton of Happy Meals and he said he was going to keep eating Happy Meals and opening the packs that came with them until he was able to collect all 20 cards. I feel like it may have been the 25th anniversary or the 20th. No, it's the 20th.
This is I'm looking at the Charizard price. Here it says about $400,000.
Oh my
That is
gosh.
insane.
It's sold for at an auction in December. It's crazy to think how like stuff can just gain value just for
Yeah.
being, even though
It just sits there. It
even
just
though
sits in a
it's
package.
just a piece of cardboard
Yeah.
that does nothing
Yeah.
for you, does not make your life easier, has no value except for it's just rare.
Yeah.
And people love it. The Pokemon world is going crazy right now, and the prices are skyrocketing.
Yeah.
I really regret not getting into that.
It's
Yeah,
crazy
Buying
that
cards
yeah.
and stuff.
it's crazy that something can gain value like that just from people wanting it and being willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it does
Because it's not a
nothing.
service to you
No.
or a
It does
necessity.
nothing for you. It's just valuable. It's kind of like gold. Like that's how gold works.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
think, like I've thought about this before. Like, why the heck is gold worth so much? It is a terrible metal. It is
Yeah.
soft. It does not conduct
Yeah.
electricity.
No,
or
it conducts
heat good.
electricity really good.
I didn't think
It,
so.
gold is actually pretty valuable to go into electronics.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of gold in your phone because they can use it for the circuit boards and all of that
Yeah.
stuff. But also the FDA and like world economy controls the prices of gold.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah, but like gold, like copper conducts electricity more than gold. So it's like, okay, why would you use gold? But
I think it's the malleability of gold,
Yeah,
its
it's-
ability to be stretched and like hammered out.
it might just be because it's rare, just like
Yeah.
the Charizard.
yeah.
Not that many people have it, so
Yeah.
I want to be one
It's
of the
like-
people that have it.
You know something that's also so weird that like its value is like so consistent. Legos.
I have a whole bunch of
Consistently
Legos.
expensive.
The price. Well,
They
exactly
are
though.
expensive.
The price of
Yeah.
Legos, like there's a bunch of you. I never really realized there's a bunch of YouTubers that all they do is just like they just build huge Lego contraptions and they never tear them down. They just buy more Legos and build them up, and they get like sponsored to do this and stuff. So it's practically free to them. If the economy ever goes down, they can sell Legos for like $2 million.
Yeah, Legos are again one of those things that they're just plastic. They're just pieces of
yeah.
molded
Just
plastic.
pieces of plastic that you can
And
put
I
together.
think part of the value comes from like the pre-made kits. Like I don't know about you guys, but I would rather just have a big bucket of Legos and make whatever
just
I
do
want
do what you want.
instead of having to follow the instructions.
Yeah.
But having a cool finished project is also
Yeah,
pretty
'cause it-
interesting.
Yeah.
That's a cool. It'll always come out clean.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like you try to make something on your own, it'll never look as good. As
I remember one of the first Lego kits I got as a kid. You could make 3 things out of it. You could make
I don't know.
a truck, an airplane, and I want to say a tractor or a boat. I think it may have been a boat, but it was just so interesting how it was the same
Right.
pieces. They all used all of the pieces in the kit. They used the same pieces, but just utilizing them in a different way would make a clean, finished product.
And Lego engineers are so cool.
Oh yeah.
Like I want to know how
Dream
they do it.
job
I would
right
love to. Yeah, I would love to take a trip to see how they do it. Because there's no way that they just sit in an office with a bunch of Legos
Yeah.
and build something that looks so good.
I mean, with how advanced things are now, they probably use
have
computer-aided design.
Yeah, and then the
Right,
computer
yeah.
calculates the pieces for them, and it
Yeah.
tells you this piece here because they make stuff that looks so good that I could never make.
Those huge. There was. Did somebody make a huge like Millennium Falcon?
Oh
Like
yeah,
the size of a room out of Legos.
Oh, I didn't
I don't
see
know
that.
if
So
someone
room,
made.
I was just thinking like,
I've seen
I know there were
like
kits
3 foot
that are
wide.
this big, and then some people made huge ones. But I feel like there was something huge made out of Legos. I don't know if it was a Millennium Falcon.
I know there was a decent, like, it got pretty crazy. There was a Millennium Falcon Lego thing, and they were really expensive.
Yeah.
Like
The first
if
one
you get
listed
the
nearly
full size-
$400.
Yeah, if you get the full size one. Oh no, right here, 800.
Oh, that's. Oh
I think
my
this is the full size one. There's like a big one where it's a nice size. Like it's
Yeah.
you know, probably 2 feet in diameter or whatever, and it's like $800, but it's sick.
have you guys ever messed around with those? There'll be sheets of metal with little laser cutouts, and you have to bend them and attach them in certain ways to make structures. Well,
Oh, yes.
you have.
Yeah, you just get them in like a box, and it's like they're just stacked on top of each other.
They're
And you
thin.
make little.
Well, yeah. Normally they're just like yay big, like
Yeah,
I would say 6 by 4 inch sheets.
they're terrible.
Of just metal. Yeah, I would not suggest them.
They break so easily. You'll bend one
You
like
bend one
a
piece, and if you-
degree too far, and it
'Cause
snaps off.
They have like weakened parts in the metal, right? Because they're supposed to be bendable, and they want you to bend at that precise angle. But if it breaks, your kit's
Yeah.
ruined.
Yeah,
like you can't
bending,
reattach
it's like-
the metal.
If you just sit in class and you just bend like you're bored, you bend a paperclip like 3 times, it'll snap.
Yeah, snap.
Those things
It's
are
the
like
same
on the
thing.
second bend of a paperclip.
Yeah,
So you have to do it real slow, and then you have to take the border off somehow without breaking everything else. Because they always come with this border, and you got to snap it out to actually
Yeah.
start using or making the model.
I was given one a while back, and it just sat in my closet after working on it for like 10 minutes because it was impossible. But recently, I tried to make it with someone else, and they had a level easy difficulty, and I didn't realize that had difficulties on it. But I started looking at mine; it was actually like the hardest difficulty you could get, and I was like, great. Mine was an X-wing fighter from Star Wars, and theirs was a golden snitch. But we were able to finish the golden snitch, and it actually turned out pretty cool. But I broke a piece on my kit, and yeah, was not able to turn out.
I think I might have had a pirate ship at some point. Maybe it wasn't a pirate ship.
Pirate ship.
Maybe it was just a ship.
Anything that has curves, like as you would imagine
It was
a ship having, would be
Impossible. It was so impossible. It ended up looking like it was from Minecraft or something. Like it was just a box with a sail sticking out the top.
Thank you to Anchor for sponsoring this episode of Speaking Sporadically. If you haven't heard about Anchor before, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcasts on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Back to the program. So you just heard a word from our sponsor, Anchor. Isaiah had to leave, so it's just me and Jacob here to finish out this last segment or whatever.
And yeah, we were talking about those foldable metal projects, which kind of a pain in the butt, so maybe we stick away from those and stay with something more interesting like the guitar, right,
Yeah,
Devin?
yeah. I was thinking about it, and there's a lot. Like, okay, so I don't know if anyone's getting into guitar or whatever, but simplicity, you go with an acoustic guitar, right? Because there's nothing really much to it. All it is just a guitar with strings, you play or whatever. But electric guitars, I'm learning, there's so much to them. There's things called the pickups, which are basically like the microphones that catch the strings vibration, which is what amplifies them. And there's a few different types of pickups. There's single coils and there's humbuckers. And
Humbuckers.
that's what they're called, humbuckers. And they each have different sounds, and that's why if you see multiple black things under the guitar strings where you strum, those are the pickups. Each one usually has the different sounds and then a selector switch so you can make different sounds. Usually people call it as like There's like creamy and real like almost twangy. Creamy is like the real smooth.
It flows.
It sounds like a blur. Like you feel it more than hear it because it's
Okay.
so like, it's creamy, you know? It's
Yeah.
real blended together. And then twangy is more you can hear each individual
string
ping, you know?
more from each other.
But the amp, and then also what they're so expensive is the amps, because you can get, like, it's crazy. If we go,
I will ask real quick, is the humbucker, you said from a simplistic standpoint, get the acoustic, are the humbuckers only on the electric guitars?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
the acoustics just have a hole and then it vibrates inside that hollow shell. So, but if you check in, whatever, I guess we'll wait. You can get $1,000 amps. Like, they are crazy. The one I'm looking at is like $250. For me personally, I don't need something that goes that loud because I'm just playing on myself in my room. So I'm getting a smaller one.
So you want to kind of go for sound quality.
Right. And I want if I'm going to buy this amp, I want it to be very versatile. So there's a lot that goes into amps. There's digital amps and tubing amps and even stuff that I'm still learning about. But the one that I'm looking at, it has a whole bunch of different preset sounds. So if I want, I could make my guitar sound like a banjo or a piano or whatever. You select it, and each drum you play, it's the same note, but it sounds completely different.
And this would only be on a digital amp or an electric amp.
Usually just digital, yeah.
Yeah.
And then another thing I want is Bluetooth connectivity. So I could just hook up my phone, play Bluetooth songs on it, and I could either play along or just listen to it. And also another thing that I think is really cool that I learned is you can just plug in headphones into the amp, and then no sound will come out of your amp, and it'll just go straight into your headphones. So it's really nice for, like, if there's a bunch of people in your house but you still want to play and jam out, or if you're like embarrassed because you mess up a lot like I do. It's just good to be like, I could plug in a headset, put that on, and I could play, and then the noise will just go straight to the headphones, and I can sit
So really
there.
anyone from the outside perspective would hear was just the strings strumming.
They're real quiet. Electric guitars, they're real quiet strings.
Because
But-
they don't have the hollow hole like the acoustic guitar.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So it has a whole bunch of Bluetooth connectivity, speaker emulation, 4 digital power amp models.
Is there
There's a bunch of stuff.
higher and lower quality strings? Like, do you have strings break or?
So I don't think there's really higher quality. There's different sizes for strings. You have, I think the smallest are like 0.08 gauge or something. I don't know, I'm probably gonna sound like an idiot. But there's super small strings, and all they are is they're just thin. They're real thin, because people can bend them, or I forget what they call it. I think they call it like pull or whatever, where you get the string and then you play it. It's kind of hard to explain, but if you pull the string, you'll make it tighter.
I know
and
you're
the
talking
sound
about.
will
Also,
go up.
we had an acoustic guitar, and I think we still have it, but there's a couple strings broke on it, and I never really. It's actually my sister's, but I never really learned to play. I would just strum along on it, and they had knobs at the top, like the head of the guitar, and you could tighten those, and they would just pull the strings tighter.
That's how you tune them.
And it would tune it and they would make different noises.
Yeah, what I'm talking about is you keep the string how it is, but if you grab it and you pull it down, you're keeping it on the same fret, but you're pulling it away, which is making it tighter, basically, because you're making that distance farther. Because it's kind of like, if you think about it as a triangle, the hypotenuse is always longer than that straight side, so if you get that and you pull it, it'll make it tighter and the sound will go up, so you can really change that, which is what those small strings are for. You can move those things a lot because they're so thin. You can pull them all across the fretboard.
Like expert level, because you're going to be able to make
you can pull and
your riffs and your
make notes go fly high up and stuff. And then there's real thick ones that are thick strings, big, thick, bulky, where you can't move them, but they will, like, good chance never break. Because the strings always break it's usually the E string, the bottom string. There's 2 E strings. The thinnest string, because it's the thinnest, and you're strumming that one, and then it just, I broke a string on my brother's guitar. He doesn't know. He still doesn't know.
Hopefully he doesn't listen to this, guys.
Yeah. I just gave it back to him, and I don't think he noticed. I think he put it away. But I'm looking at acoustic guitars, and they're around like $150. But there's a lot to get into music and stuff.
So I don't know how strong this itch is, but do you want to perform in front of everyone else, or is this just for personal?
This is probably just for me. Maybe pick up a few chicks here and there, but that's about it. I mean, girls like a musician.
Nah, I like guitars, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean,
Like if
a pianist is a musician.
I guess so. But like, yeah, that's true.
Nothing against pianists.
You have to be able to sing though if you want to be a pianist.
Yeah.
Because like if you can play piano and sing.
But there's also a lot of shows where someone's playing the piano and then they have someone singing
Yeah.
next to the piano.
But I guess that wraps up our episode. That's all the time we have. So thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you follow our Instagram. Give us feedback. Stay tuned next week. Let us know what you want to hear. Hopefully next Sunday we'll have our next podcast out. If not, we'll let you guys know.
Yep.
But
also, yeah, feedback of Anchor releases this to a bunch of
different platforms.
Yeah, platforms that play out podcasts. So let us know where you're listening from. And the audio quality right now, we're just using the phone. We do have a microphone, but we couldn't get it to work today. So hopefully we can get the microphone to work and we can use that for next one.
Another thing that I want to do is if this like picks up enough steam and we get enough people watching, enough people care, I would like to go. I think it would be cool if we would go video, post it on YouTube as well, or I think you said Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify I think has video capabilities now,
which would be cool. So we can maybe even,
make the cool backdrop, get a shelf,
find a little room,
like you'll see streamers have. And
yeah, we'll make it cool. We can sit there. You guys can see us, and then maybe we can even do fun stuff and start a YouTube. I don't know, whatever. We're going with the flow.
Yeah, we're just going with the flow. See how this happens.
Just let the podcast take us where it wants to go. We just thought it'd be fun to start one and record our conversations and
I definitely did enjoy it.
Oh yeah, this was fun. It took us a lot of tries.
It took us a lot of tries. Honestly, what really started it is we were kind of trying to plan out a weird intro and stuff, and I just got out my phone and I pressed play and I was like, guys, we just got to talk and do it.
Which is why the beginning of this episode is probably pretty choppy and weird because we were trying to get it started, but it just wasn't working. We're like, guys, this is dumb. This isn't working.
Like we even started typing up a script and all
that.
We got
a little bit of script, but
we need to go with it and just talk.
We just need to relax. Yeah. Because, like I said, we can talk for hours about the randomest things, like we did today. Yeah. We went to topics I never thought we would ever talk about. Like
we probably would have kept rolling too, but Isaiah had to go.
Yeah, and we only got a certain amount of time because we got stuff to do. But
like right now, we're trying to wrap this thing up, and we just keep
going,
talking,
and we can't stop. But so we're done. Thank you guys so much for listening. Stay tuned. Give us feedback, and I guess that's really it. Peace out.
Yep, see you guys. Actually, not over yet. We have to say Happy Pi Day, 3/14. Goodbye.